And those incidents happen again while you're on the sidelines. And the other thing you start doing right now at that time period is, what is that saying? When the student is ready, an instructor will appear. Well, you ended up at the Marine Corps, the Martial Arts Center for Excellence, and you started training.
I did. I ran into a colonel named Jocko, who is just this phenomenal guy, all about character. I mean, in his 60s, could outrun all of us. I mean, the epitome of discipline. And he brought me in. I started working there, and I got further introduced into martial arts, and I loved it. I found, hey, this is what I should be doing in my free time. I should be hitting heavy bags. I should be training. I should be watching tape. I need to be, if I'm not reading military history and learning about my enemy, I'm doing this stuff. This is the type of stuff that's going to keep my mind sharp. And then I got intrigued. I wondered, okay, I'm going to lead Marines in combat. And a lot of these books that they were making us read on killing, and some of these books that in my opinion, are a little off on the psychology of battle.
Agree.
I mean, just brutal. Guy, you're going to pee yourself before you get shot at.
Actually, negative. I'm not going to pee myself at all.
Yeah. So I wondered, all right, well, what can get me ready for that anxiety? I'm going to sign up for a fight. So I had this master gunnery sergeant who was a really good kickboxer who worked at this martial arts center of excellence. I said, hey, Master Guns, will you train me for a fight? Can you get me like one of these martial arts fights out in town? Yeah, sir, I can get you one. Are you going to show up? Yeah, of course I'm going to show up. I don't know, sir. I get a lot of you officers that don't. So anyways, I convinced him to train me. Every morning at 5 in the morning, we're training. And I had 6 weeks this fight. And I don't know much, right? I've got a black belt in the Marine Corps martial arts program. Right? That's an arm bar from the guard, an arm bar from the mount, a sweep on how to escape the mount. And I've never shrimped before. All right. I don't know what butterfly guard is. I have no clue what half guard is. All right. I've got a jab, a cross, and a leg kick.
You're ready for your first MMA.
And that was a black belt, you said?
Huh?
That was a black belt.
That was a black belt. I've got a jab, a cross, and a leg kick.
Understand.
All right. So I get it. It's my first amateur fight. We weigh in, and the guy's older than me, and he's got the same haircut as Chuck Liddell, and he's pretty ripped. Yeah. And so you'd weigh in the same day as the fight. So we all leave. Now it's time to eat, and then you come back. And so I come back, and I'm warming up, and he hasn't shown up yet. And there's only a little sheet that they hung off a bar in between us. And our fight's coming up in 2 fights. I'm like, man, this guy may not show up. So this is the perfect scenario for me. He doesn't show. He was scared. I go out with all my Marine buddies in the crowd. I mean, there's 50 people at this fight, and 15 of them are there to watch me. And that makes it worse, right? And so he shows up. And he's warming up. He's stretching. I'm like looking through the sheet like, oh, maybe I need to do some of that too. I don't know. Anyways, we walk down this tarp. The fight starts. And this dude, he hits me with the worst spinning back fist you've ever seen. I mean, slow motion, off balance. My head's so big, anything you throw it hits any damn way. But hits me with the spinning back fist, and I'm starting to get embarrassed. He's coming at me aggressive, and now's that decision point. Okay, I can mentally break now and kind of cover up and get out of here if this is a little uncomfortable for me. And at that point, I kind of snap, and I got mad. And so I go to try and take him down, which I have no wrestling.
Football.
I tried a football. He wraps up a guillotine on me, full on, wraps the legs around my waist, and he is hammered. Everything he's got, you hear him. And it's tight. I mean, I can feel the lights going out. I'm like, oh my goodness, no. And I could hear his corner man yelling to him. It's his wife. So now, not only am I going to get tapped out in the first round, I'm going to get tapped out to a fake Chuck Liddell being cornered by his wife.
Finish him, Jerry. Finish him.
I can't do this. I can't let this happen. Anyway, I find a way out of the choke. I kick him in the leg and realize, ooh, I kick hard. He didn't like that. And then I crack him in the forehead and I split his head open. The doctor comes in. He doesn't know what month it is. And the fight's over. And there was a bunch of Vietnam vets in the crowd, and they're hammered. And as soon as I get out, these dudes, these guys, these crusty fellas throw their arms, I mean, spilling beer all over me. They're feeding me, they're putting the beer down my throat from their cup, but they got dips in there. I mean, this stuff is probably disgusting, right? But it tasted so good. And from that moment on, I was hooked. This is what I should be doing. I had 6 weeks of a fight on my mind. If I can get used to that, how will I deal with the anxiety of unprepared for battle? Hey, we're on patrol. we get contact, what's our immediate action? Or we're going to have a major operation coming up in 6 days. I have to be able to think clearly on the battlefield, direct, lead, play chess. And so I thought, man, this fighting thing could be a key. It could be a help. And it certainly did not end up being that, but it ended up being my sanctuary through it all. It was kind of what centered me. I brought Thai pads to Iraq the first time. I had one of my sergeants was a pretty good martial arts. We would train in between missions. I would train my guys.
See, that's the difference between the SEAL teams and the Marine Corps. You brought Thai pads. I brought mats. Literally, like I had mat rooms.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The budget is much
Yeah,
different.
I know. It's like almost embarrassing for me to admit.